All right, so let's get started building this robot model. Just to kind of review where we have two view planes, I moved the left side plane all the way to the end. So originally I had it lined up in the middle just to check the height alignment, but now I just moved over to the side. We can still see it on here. You can kind of see the other plane, but and moving it to the side allows us to access this. So I'm going to start from the left or the front plane view. So I'll click into that view, highlight it, and then on the keyboard hold Alt W. All right. Next piece is we're going to create this robot in half. So, and then we'll mirror the other side. So we only have to do the work for only half of the modeling piece. So I'm going to choose the left-hand side since he has an arm out that is already extended, and we can use that as a guide. Okay, so we're going to start with the left foot and kind of work our way up. We have a good view of the left foot here as well, and this one is pretty good set. So let's start with a box. We're going to start, and I'm going to kind of rotate a little bit here. Okay, so we're going to create a box that's going to represent the foot, and I'm going to kind of just create something roughly like that, and then I'm going to reset the view. You can always do that by choosing F or front. Okay, and I'm going to kind of line it up, moving this guy with the back. Okay, oops. All right, so I just found out I forgot to do one thing here. You want to lock these guys in place, the background view, so you don't accidentally grab them. Okay, so the way to do that is it's best to do it through here. You can just freeze them through this. So on the top, I believe it's under Tools, Scene Explorer, if you don't see this. So you can click the snowflake. Now here's the problem with that. That freezes it so I can't accidentally move it, but it turns gray. So there's a setting we have to change on this. You can right click on it over here and go to Properties. And we want it to don't show frozen in gray. We don't want that. Take that checkbox off. Okay, cool. So that's good. Let's freeze the other plane, and then right click on it and use Properties and take off the checkbox for show frozen in gray, because we want it to be not shown in gray. We want it to show the actual image. All right. Next thing is this box. As we go, I want that to be see-through. So I'm going to right click on the box, go to Properties, and choose see-through. Okay. And then I'm going to make sure I have, instead of default shading, I'm going to have edged faces on this box. All right, that's the wrong thing here. I guess that's all right. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom in a little bit and move the box so that it's kind of lined up with the foot. All right, and we're going to have to change the size of this box. You want to get it as close as you can. So once you create it and you want to modify the width and everything, you're going to go to Modify here, and you can change the length. That's not changing anything. The width, there we go. So be a little bit wider to match that foot in the background there. All right. And the height is pretty good. You're going to just kind of bring it up to the highest point in the shoe. And I'm just looking at the background. You see the shoe kind of goes up like this. So just trying to cover it up with this box, and we're going to get it a better shape later and then kind of move it down. All right, that's good. And now I'm going to look at it from my left-hand view or left side view. So click L, and I go to the left view. So if you use these shortcuts and memorize them, we're going to go back and forth between front and left to line up a lot of these things. All right. So from the left-hand view, I'm going to zoom in, and you can kind of see there's the length. So I'm going to make it a little shorter. All right. And I kind of want it there, and then I'll move it a little bit. So you're just going to kind of get it as close as you can to match the back. All right. And the shoe kind of pops up over here on the left-hand side. All right. Next part is I'm going to choose front just to check. Okay, so it covers up the shoe there. Left-hand side covers up the shoe there. All right. Now we're going to need to cut this box into some pieces. So add some segments. So let's do 4. And I want to make sure that I'm looking at edged faces. If you don't, there we go. So you see I have 3 segments. I think I'm going to do 5 segments will probably be enough. All right. I know I'm going to want a hole on the top so I can attach the leg. So that's kind of, well, you know what? I think I'm going to go back. 5's fine. That'll work. All right. From the side. Let me look at the front. And this is the height. So 1 segment there, and probably 2 on this side will be fine. All right, so I've broken it up into 2 slices on the width, 1 on the height, and you can look and see kind of how it broke this box up, or segmented the box into pieces. Okay. All right, so that's the first part. And I'm going to go ahead and save as. So version 1 was when I had my plane. So I'm going to say V2-foot. So I know where I'm at. There we go. All right. So next piece is we're going to get into editing a little bit here. All right. So that's where this ribbon comes in. I'm going to go ahead and press that little white button so you can expand the ribbon. And then we're going to start modeling. You have this object selected, and there's vertex tool. If you click on that, you can see that some vertices have showed up. That's good. There's edge select tool, and that would select edges. And all of this is kind of like geometry. This is a face or a polygon tool, so you could select a face. All right. And this is the object select tool, so you can select the entire object. Okay. So selecting outside of the object deselects, and selecting inside the object selects it. All right. I'm going to do vertex selection. And what I want to do is bring this corner in a little bit closer. You can see through in the back how the shoe kind of goes down like this, and it goes out a little bit. All right. I'm going to kind of match this drawing as good as possible just to see what it looks like at the end. All right. So there's these different selections. This guy will select a region, and this guy will select anything in the crossing. So, and it kind of gives you an example of everything there. So by default, I think it's this one that's selected, this region guy. So if I drag my mouse outside of, let me do that again. Click and drag a marquee selection around that vertex, and then let me hold my middle mouse button and rotate. You see how it selects everything that was in that cross section? That's good. That's what we want, because we don't want to have to move all of these vertices one at a time. All right. So let's go back to front view. Zoom in. All right. So now you can use the move tool. It's already selected. And I'm basically just going to move this guy with the X and Y move. I guess those are grab handles, you can call them that. Okay. Then I'm going to take this guy, and all of these are going to get moved out a little bit. All right, go back to this one. Now, since it's a sketch, it's not going to be perfect, but you just kind of want it close to that outline. That's good enough. And now on the bottom, I'm going to take, well, it looks like the bottom in general is a little bit bigger all around. Or you can just say, you know what, I'm not sure if the artist meant to draw from the front view like a part of the shoe that came out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these vertices at the bottom. And then I'm going to use this scale tool. All right. So this is kind of cool. I'm going to use this tool right here. And if you roll over it, it says basically the pivot point is the center. But I want to choose this one, and it's the selection center. So that means it's going to use this as the center of all my selection points and scale from that. All right. So that's good. It'll kind of flail it out at the bottom a little bit. So that looks good. All right. I'm going to get out of the scale tool, go back to move, and take this guy. Going to move up a little bit. This one, and these guys aren't. And I'm not just moving one vertex. Remember, I'm moving all of them around the box, so the whole thing is getting shaped. Okay, so that's the whole purpose of choosing this selection here, this rectangular region, because it selects everything, all the full objects that you're selecting. In this case, all the vertices that are in that window. All right. And then this goes here. So I'm still kind of just mapping the bottom of the shoe. All right. And if you don't like that kind of flailed out, if you want it to be rounded a little bit at the bottom, some of this stuff you're just going to make it kind of close so it kind of matches. Okay. So you can kind of see that I have roughly the shape of this shoe or foot from the front. All right, it's close enough. This might be a little high. I can kind of move it around. Okay, again, this is a sketch. We're trying to do our best to kind of match it up. All right, so that's good. I'm going to Control S to save. Then I'll go to the left view on this side. All right, so I'm going to select out here. So now we have to kind of shape the side. It's going to be a little bit more difficult, but not too bad. All right, so I'm going to take the bottom, and this is the part where the side view and the bottom don't really match up really. So you know how this is the bottom of the shoe here from the front, but it's not from the side. I think I'm going to just leave that as the bottom. I'm not going to move it up here to match, but I am going to match the shape. So I'm going to move these guys. There. All right. Oops. So undo. So you can kind of see that I have some things, they're not in line anymore because I moved it. So see how this guy doesn't really match up? It's kind of interesting. So what I'm going to do, zoom in here. All right, so all of these kind of need to go in a little bit, except for the back. So I'm going to take all of these on top, and I'll do this center selection and scale, and just kind of bring it in. No, it doesn't work out. Let's just do that for these last two here. Yeah, that's better. We can bring it in and then use the move tool and move everything kind of on the side. You want to try to keep things lined up as best as you can. Okay. I got these guys. Move those back. Okay, not bad. Open these up a little. This guy up. So this is just called polygon modeling. You're taking these vertices and you're moving them to match kind of the shape that's going on here. All right. This one's a little bit tricky in the front here because I only have those two vertices for the shoe. So I think I'm going to leave those alone for now. Yeah, I can move these out. And then maybe later I could move this guy in. Okay, so you're trying to get it as close as you can. You can maybe move this up a little bit and back, but I'm trying to get that rough shape that we have here. All right, so let's see what happens if I take all these down a little bit. Just selecting all the vertices except the bottom one, and I'll move all those to match. All right, so far so good. And these, I'm going to do that scale feature to the center, kind of bring that whole back of the foot together, and then use the move tool. So it takes practice. If you make a mistake or you think you made a mistake and you want to redo something, all you have to do is kind of undo. Okay. Zoom way in because I want to get this guy too. There we go. All right, so again, it's going to get as close as you can and still make it kind of look like a robot foot. All right, that's a decent shape. I mean, it's kind of like a pointy end at the front, so you can smooth that out a little bit. I guess the smoothing out would be if I cut this into other pieces. So I'm just going to kind of leave it. That's fine. All right, I'm going to back to the front, and I can kind of see so this vertex here and this one, if you hold control down, you can select these. Try to scale them together just to kind of bring the foot a little bit rounded at the front. And actually, I'm going to do that with these guys too. There we go. All right, so you could keep working on this if you wanted until you kind of get things the way you like. It gets a little tricky with the perspective to see which ones you're looking at, but these two on the top, I kind of want to bring those down a little bit. I don't know, it's going to look, that's a little bit better. All right, it doesn't go all the way up to the point there, but like I said, it's just a sketch. Okay, so that's it. Kind of leave that, click save.